So, local distinctiveness and storytelling. This is my favourite part of the resources. Something I enjoy the most. I won't try and talk about this region like Nick does. I won't try and compete with that at all. Be talking to you about how you can do this and how this can enhance your business. Basically, local distinctiveness is simply the story of our everyday surroundings, and that can be the landscape, can be people, the famous, the infamous, literature, art, wildlife, weather, in fact anything that is influenced or is influencing the location. And sense of place is the communication of these rich and unique assets. Unfortunately, in our mature tourism industry, there is a tendency for homogenization of destinations. It's easier to set out your stall as a something for everybody destination because you're a bit nervous about, I might offend those people, or they might dislike what I'm saying. Sense of place gives you the opportunity to really define what your area is, to make it special and to make it stand out in a very busy marketplace. Up and down the land, there are destinations vying for similar or the same customers, and sense of place is really something that can give you your niche in a marketplace. And it is the reason why many visitors will decide on where they're going to go, because if they can't decide in destinations that look the same or feel the same, sound the same, if they come across places that don't sound the same, that sound intriguing and interesting, they're more likely to visit. North Downs Way, I think, is an amazing example of sense of place, and I've picked out a few reasons about why, if you're not already including the sense of place, the Kent Downs in your marketing communications, then you're missing out on a huge opportunity. It's a national asset, one of 16 national trails. It goes right through the Kent Downs and the Surrey Downs, and it links the beautiful cities of Winchester and Canterbury. It's a modern pilgrimage route, and pilgrimages are coming back. Really, they are back in the fore now. People want to do either the long distance or they want to dip in and dip out. If you have any sort of connection that you can make with with the North Downs Way, then it will entice your visitors. If you're offering services, if you've got somewhere where they can stay along the route or somewhere to eat and drink, it's a very, very important link for you to consider. So the added value for your business, well, yes, a distinctive place in a noisy and a busy tourism marketplace, and there's opportunities now to do things differently. The pandemic has reset our tourism industry. So if you want to stick your neck out, then do it under the guise of a sense of place. It can provide additional income because people are looking for authentic experiences. They're looking for the opportunities to immerse themselves and to go away with not an in-depth knowledge, but a bit more than a superficial knowledge of, yes, a place has a nice view, or isn't the sea pretty today. Taps into underutilized skills, perfect umbrella for those who are working in niche markets, who are doing arts and crafts, for example, to make links and to use that to promote what you're doing and to hopefully sell more. One of the challenges, though, that it does have for business owners is that typically in the place where you live, you after a while you fail to notice things because you see them all the time. So what is maybe mundane and dull to you because you see it or you don't see it anymore is new and intriguing to somebody who's never visited. And that's where the detail that Nick was talking about, the tiny, tiny bits of detail that will start to form the fabric of your story, of your area, starting small and then building up. Inspiration and information, that's what customers are looking for, and any recommendation from a local has huge value. And for you to say, well, for me to recommend where the good view is, think, well, that's not really actually maybe that interesting, but for the visitor it can be, because it comes from you. You know the area and it's your experience and through your eyes. outside is free, so if you're looking at experiences, I know some of you have been on the or involved in the experience program. If you haven't done that, you don't need to necessarily invest huge amount of resource, because you can encourage people to go and have a walk or take a picnic and a bicycle ride somewhere. It doesn't have to be somewhere that's something that's labour intensive, or you have to build something or employ somebody to do that for you. And the value for the community, well, it's same for agritourism and sustainability, is to involve your host community. Don't impose tourism development on your host community. We want visitors to come here, we want them to spend their money. We also want them to go away and say what a wonderful place it is, but not at the expense of those who are having to deal with congestion and poor traffic management, poor visitor management. And I'll finish on 4 case studies. Chilham and Wye, 2 historic villages that have made the most of being on the North Downs Way, and they have adapted and developed some interesting products and experiences so that the walkers are encouraged to stop along the way and spend a bit more time in the countryside. Jack Raven Bushcraft, most of the messages that they are conveying in their work in the woodlands are about the heritage and how the woodlands have been developed and their sustainable approach to their products. Creative Pilgrimage, if you haven't heard of them, they're an amazing group of artists who get together and they walk and they do pilgrimages not only in Kent but further afield, and they share their experiences through art exhibitions, and they do things online, photography, pottery, painting, all sorts of things. And then finally, Kit's Coty Glamping is a good example of an accommodation provider who puts sense of place at the forefront of their communication and indeed the delivery of their glamping. And they invite their guests to come in and exhale, just stop. We tend to rush around too much, wanting to tick things off, spending tiny amounts of time in 15 places. Their idea is to go to fewer places, so they're communicating where to go in the local area, but the idea is to spend more time in fewer places and just unwind. And that's me done. Thank you.